Fox Sports.
We are Black. We are Wisconsin.
Welcome to Miller Park here in Milwaukee. It's kind of a rainy Thursday night. The roof is closed. We've got baseball in our city, unlike a lot of the other cities around the division who can't handle the rain, right? Good to have you aboard here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. The Brewers hoping for a little payback in the season series against St. Louis. They have won 10 of the 14 games already, and these young Brewer fans are like nothing more than to see their stars win here tonight. Welcome back to the broadcast. Craig and Davey on board with you here as we get you set for Game 3. Jimmy Nelson on the hill against John Lackey here tonight. And Davey, you look at Jimmy Nelson, still looking for his first win against the Cardinals. But the bottom line for him, hasn't pitched like Jimmy Nelson over the last 2 starts alone. 9 earned runs given up during that stretch.
Yeah, you know, and in his last 2 starts, he was only able to go 5 innings. Pitch count got up high. But, you know, one of the things, it's all about Jimmy's command. When he leaves balls up in the zone, he gets hurt. You know, he's got a nice fastball and his sinker and slider, and he can flip up the curveball. But if he doesn't command his fastball and get early outs, he gets himself in trouble.
All right, so he's looking to regain that form here tonight against St. Louis. Well, it's a minor league championship run that could pave the way to the majors. Sophia Minard has more on that story on Biloxi and AA when we come back.
Is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Rain outside of Miller Park in Milwaukee tonight, but inside we are getting ready for baseball. Game 3 between the Brewers and the Cardinals. The Crew sending Jimmy Nelson to the mound, looking to avoid the sweep here tonight. And today, the 2015 Robin Yount Performance Awards were announced for the minor league pitcher and player of the year. Those awards, no surprise, going to two Biloxi Shuckers, Jorge Lopez, the right-handed pitcher, and Orlando Arcia, the all-star shortstop. The two prospects that the Brewers are counting on in the future. Jorge Lopez went 12-5 over his season, a 2.26 ERA with 137 strikeouts. He earned the win last night for Biloxi in Game 1 of the Southern League Championship Series. And Orlando Arcia, the 20-year-old shortstop, an average over 300, 8 home runs, 69 RBIs for him, and 25 stolen bases. For manager Craig Counsell, these two prospects are delivering on the upside that they have shown.
You know, when you win that award, I think you've had a really nice season. You know, those are two players who, you know, I think we've always thought very highly of. So they're certainly not guys that are coming out of nowhere. They're guys the organization has always thought very highly of. But I think it's a sign that they've taken another step for sure. That they're progressing the right way. And in a way that, and now doing it at the AA level means they're not too far away, which is exciting.
Both Jorge Lopez and Orlando Arcia will be honored here at Miller Park on October 3rd. But we've got the series finale between the Brewers and the Cardinals. Jimmy Nelson heading to the mound. We have first pitch coming over for you next.
Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. Thursday night at Miller Park, the roof is closed. We got some rain out there. Hi, everybody. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Looking forward to this matchup tonight. The Brewers trying to salvage the final game of this series. And at least tonight, Rock, Craig Counsell has his lineup back intact.
Yeah, you got the right-hander John Lackey, who's been brilliant over the last 17 starts. But you have Braun back in the lineup. He missed yesterday's game with back spasms. Wasn't even able to hit in last night's game, but came to the ballpark. He's fine. Adam Lynn back in the starting lineup. So the Big Bopper's back, and you hope that the Brewers are going to be able to salvage at least one game here tonight in this 3-game series.
Brewers Cardinals. St. Louis 10-4 this year against Milwaukee. Mike Matheny's club sitting pretty right now. They have a 4-game lead over the Pirates. in the National League Central Division. 91 wins for the Redbirds this season, the most in baseball. Matt Carpenter, Tommy Pham, Jason Hayward at the top. Pham earns another start tonight after his 2-homer night last night. Then you got Peralta, Adams, and Wong in there in the middle. Cruz, Moss, and Lackey round out Matheny starting 9. And that's the batting order that will face big right-hander from Alabama, the University of Alabama, Jimmy Nelson.
Yeah, looking to snap a 2-game losing streak.
First pitch of the ball game is low and in, and away we go. Great to have you with us tonight on Fox Sports Wisconsin. The numbers for Jimmy Nelson.
Overall, the earned run average still under 4, but 3 of his last 4 starts have not gone very well. He lost his last 2, both on the last road trip at Cincinnati and at Pittsburgh. Looking for win number 1 career against the Cardinals.
And right away, Matt Carpenter back to his hitting ways. Single into right field.
Well, the Menards defense for the Brewers here tonight. Davis, Peterson, and Braun. Peterson gets the start. Santana sits this one out tonight. Herrera, Segura, Jeanette up the middle. Lind at first. And Martin Maldonado back behind home plate. He had a big home run in last night's game.
Well, good to see Braun back in the lineup. He had some serious concerns over his tight back yesterday. Not able to recover. Gave a lot of credit to the athletic training staff and the medical staff with the Brewers. He's back in there, and he's been swinging the bat well, so he really doesn't want to miss too much time. There's athletic trainer Dan Wright. He and his staff been given a lot of credit by a number of the players this year, and especially Braun earlier today. Tommy Pham at the plate in the 2-hole tonight. What a story he was last night. Cardinals are without their left fielder Matt Holliday, so they've had a bit of a rotation out there. Piscotty and Grichuk. Grichuk's hurt. And Tommy Pham. And Pham last night hit 2 home runs. He had 11 total bases in the game. 2 home runs and a triple yesterday. And he was the story, and now he lines out one to right. That's down for a hit. That's going to get into the corner. And Carpenter is going to try to score. And he will score. It's a triple for Tommy Pham. He drives in a run right out of the gates.
Man, who is this guy? My goodness. Yeah, 2 home runs, a triple last night. The only out that he made was a deep fly to center field. He took Schaefer that back to the wall. First at bat tonight. Takes a pitch inside and slices it down that right field line. And boy, not a good start for the Crew already tonight. First 2 batters are down 1-0, and Tommy Pham driving in yet another. Goodness.
Back-to-back hits. And here is Jason Hayward. First ball swinging right to Nelson. He'll look the runner back, and he makes a play for out number 1. Hayward retired. He had a big game here on Tuesday night. On base 5 times. Had a couple of walks. Had 2 doubles and a home run in that game. That was a decisive home run too in extra innings. That was a 10-inning St. Louis win on Tuesday. And then yesterday the Cardinals winning by a final of 5-4. It was actually 5-0 at one point. The Brewers trailed early and then came back, had a 4-run inning last night, a 4-run 4th inning, but then the Cardinals were able to hang on. Good work by their bullpen. Tommy Pham and Matt Carpenter both homered last night. Maldonado homered for the Brewers, a 3-run shot, as Garcia beat Willie Peralta. In the air to right, Johnny Peralta sends Braun deep, and that's plenty deep to score the run. And it's a 2-spot right out of the gates for the St. Louis Cardinals. Sacrifice fly and an RBI for Johnny Peralta.
Interesting thing about last night's game, you keep the 3, 4, 5 hitters hitless, but the Cardinals able to score enough to win. You know, it was the Tommy Pham show last night, and he's at it again tonight. An RBI and another run scored.
Well, he hit his way into the lineup again tonight, and it paid off for Mike Matheny. So the base is empty now. 2 runs are in on 2 hits. Here's Matt Adams. Adams did not start last night. He's just coming back. Made his first start since coming back from the disabled list, and he was out with a quad injury. Had surgery on that torn muscle, as a matter of fact, in mid-May.
And bringing him back slowly, and hopefully he's, for the Cardinals anyway, ready for the postseason.
Adams made his first start since returning on Tuesday night. He's back in there tonight. Shift is on. Jeanette is there. And the side is retired. But the Cardinals strike quickly. 2 on the board already. We head to the bottom of the first. To the bullpen. Count them. 12 pitchers in the bullpen for the St. Louis Cardinals. You could say Mike Matheny and company are ready for any possible matchup. Craig Counsell and the Brewers, they're trying to salvage this final game. It's been a tough go. They played 2 close games with St. Louis, but come up empty on both occasions. And let's take a look at Counsell's batting order tonight. It's brought to you by Potawatomi. Scooter Gennett will lead off. Elian Herrera hits second, then Braun back in there tonight. And then the middle is Lynn, Davis, and Peterson. Segura, Maldonado, and Nelson round out Counsell's 9. That will face one of the top right-handers in the National League this year, John Lackey.
He's been the most consistent starter for St. Louis. He leads the club now with 30 starts, including tonight. 7th in the league in earned run average and 6th in the league in innings pitched. He's been incredible. He's 4-1 career in 6 starts against the Brewers with an earned run average under 4. And he's 2-0 this year against Milwaukee.
Lackey misses away to get the at-bat started for Scooter Gennett. Cardinals get 2 runs on 2 hits in the top of the first inning as Gennett dribbles one out to second base, and there is out number 1.
Well, let's check out the Menards Cardinals defense. Brendan Marsh gets his first start in the series. He's out in left. Tommy Pham in center. Jason Hayward in right. Carpenter, Peralta, Wong, and Adams from third to first. And Tony Cruz gets a start behind home plate. No Yadier Molina. He struck out 4 times for the first time in his career last night, so he gets tonight off.
There's a called strike. Marty Foster back there calling the balls and strikes tonight. Elian Herrera in the 2-hole this evening. Big John Lackey. We got a matchup of 2 big, strong right-handers. The 6' 6" Lackey and the 6' 5" Jimmy Nelson. Herrera slaps one past Peralta. Base hit for Elian.
Yeah, one of the keys to get into John Lackey is to get him early. First couple of innings until he settles in with that good sinker. Good job by Herrera pulling the hands in and slapping it into left field, just out of the reach of Peralta. But if you don't get to Lackey early, good luck to you. He's an innings eater, and he hasn't been giving up too much. Matter of fact, he's given up 2 runs or less in 14 of his last 17 starts.
It's impressive that he could continue to pitch with this durability at age 36. Big and strong. a native Texan, had some great years with the Angels in the postseason. Was with the Boston Red Sox, had some injuries there with Boston. Ryan Braun back in the lineup, always presents a fun matchup here with one of the game's best on the mound and one of the game's best at the plate. Braun's having a nice year. 25 homers, comes in batting .291. He's hit over 400 in the month of September. And Braun rolls one in the hole. Right there is Carpenter out at second, and the Cardinals turn a double play. So after a 1-out hit, Braun rolls into an around-the-horn double play to end the inning.
Is that all right? You want me to continue? As we head to the second inning. Tomorrow night is the Brewers and Reds here at Miller Park, and all high school and college students can get tickets for just $10. Plus, enjoy a special $3 pregame menu. For tickets, go to brewers.com/tickets. Wow. You're fired up tonight. Go ahead. It's all you
thanks.
know.
I don't know. It's coming in hot. Couldn't wait to give that score, man.
Scared me. All psyched up, ready to go. I had it all edited. I crossed out some words and boom.
some 3-syllable words.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now I'm a little gun shy. Jimmy Nelson back on the mound. A shot back up the middle. Colton Wong with a single back through the box, and the Cardinals already have 3 hits, and this is not a good start to the night. See if the Brewers can turn this ship around quickly.
Man, it's going to start with Jimmy Nelson. He's not been able to get too deep in games last 2 times out. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. 5 innings in both of those starts. Giving up 9 earned runs. High pitch counts. It's all about location for Nelson, getting too much at the plate so far tonight.
Tony Cruz in there for Molina. Not a guy who gets a whole lot of playing time with Yadier Molina, who catches a lot. Cruz has just 102 plate appearances this season.
Yeah, might be catching up on Molina. He looks like he's had a slow bat in this series. It might just be a short-term issue for him, but down the stretch here in September, you might see Tony Cruz get some starts to keep Molina fresh for the postseason.
Runner goes, and a swing and a ground ball. Segura coming in. Short hop. And he makes a play for the out. So the Cardinals with a runner in motion. Wong ends up at second base. One gone in the second inning. A lot of finals in around Major League Baseball today. The Cubs beat the Pirates again. So the Cardinals, with a win tonight, could go up 5 games in the Central Division. A loss would keep them at 4. Brewers would rather have that scenario, sending them out. The Brewers still have another series with the Cardinals next week. That's a 4-game series in St. Louis, Thursday through Sunday. The middle leg of a 3-city road trip for the Brew Crew.
We had Cubs, Cardinals, and San Diego. Meaningful games for the Cubs and the Cardinals.
The Cubs are making up ground on the Pirates. There's a shattered bat. And out to second base. Brandon Moss is retired. Over to third goes Wong. Excellent distance on the broken bat. That's one of the longest of the year right there.
Yeah, good location on the fastball too. Eats him up inside. Hey, you leave that same pitch out over the plate, it's probably going to be a base hit somewhere, but you know, in on the corner, jams him and gets an out. That's what he needs to do more of. Find the corners.
Well, that's a big out for him because now Lackey is at the plate. Cardinal pitcher, who's never afraid to take a big lash at it. Lackey does have 7 hits this year, and he's driven in 3 runs. No hits this year against the Brew Crew. Nelson trying to keep it that way. A wave and a miss. 0-2 the count. So the Cubs and the Pirates wrapped up their series today, this afternoon, with that Cubs win. Now Pittsburgh goes to Los Angeles next, and they've got Greinke tomorrow. They got to travel all the way to LA as Nelson strikes out John Lackey to end the inning. So a leadoff single goes for naught. 9-pitch inning. On Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Hupy and Abraham. 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. Off and running in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on a rainy night here. It's a Thursday night. 2-0 Cardinals. Both of those runs coming in the first. A reminder that every weeknight, don't miss MLB Whip Around on Fox Sports 1 with highlights, instant analysis, and live look-ins from around the league. MLB Whip Around is weeknights at 6 p.m. Central on FS1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Pennant race fever heating up right now all across Major League Baseball. Cardinals are in a very good position right now. Got the Cardinals, the Mets, and the Dodgers on track to win the divisions, and then you'd have the Cubs and the Pirates in the wild card game in the National League. And the Cubs chipped off another game in that deficit as well. They're just 2 games back now of the Pittsburgh Pirates in the wild card race.
So a shot at Matt Holliday there. Saw him taking batting practice today. Looked pretty good. Getting close to coming back.
Out with a quad injury. They activated him Tuesday, although they know he's probably not going to play. But he is a presence. He's somebody the Brewers have to game plan for. He could hit, but he's trying to get ready for the postseason. And you figure he's going to need some at-bats to do that, as Lind with the shift on defies it. And a base hit to the opposite field.
There's some incredible numbers for Adam Lind against Lackey. Now 17 for 38. That's a batting average about 440. Brewers had some guys in the lineup with pretty good numbers against Lackey, although Lackey's had great numbers against Milwaukee. 2-0 this year in 4 starts. 4-1 overall.
Well, it's a symbol of his season. He does give up a lot of hits. Opponents have a high batting average against him, but he eats up a lot of innings, and he usually is at his best when runners are on base, and he gets a lot of double plays as well, like he did in the first inning.
He's given up 188 hits before tonight.
Got a little history here with Lackey and Davis. Back on August 9th, Chris Davis, part of his 10 home run month. And he's hit 14 home runs since August 6th.
And Davis and Herrera with home runs against Lackey.
That's his career, 3 hits. 2 of those 3 hits are home runs. Lackey's given up 188 hits, 3rd most in the National League. Bartolo Colon leads in that category.
Yeah, but you got to dig a little deeper into the statistics when you look at that hits allowed. He's thrown 193 innings coming in. That's 6th most in the National League. So, he's given up a lot of hits, but it's less hits than innings pitched. So that statistic can be a bit deceiving.
Means he's out there a lot, and he'll probably move into the top 5 in innings pitched tonight. Clayton Kershaw leads that category with 208.
And he throws all 4 pitches. Doesn't throw hard. He will get up once in a while to about 94 miles an hour. Change-ups, sliders, occasional curveball. More change-up to lefties than right-handers. But relies heavily on the 2-seam sinking fastball, particularly early in the game.
2-2 pitch. Down and away.
That was a 95.
Yeah, he's back to his old velocity at 36 years of age. As a matter of fact, he's going to turn 37 the 3rd week of October. He's hoping he's still active in the postseason when he turns 37. He's having his best year of his career, really. When you look at his ERA and his innings, he was a real workhorse with the Angels. The year he made an all-star team, that was 07. He was a 19-game winner, and he led the league in earned run average that year. A 3.01 ERA. He went 224 innings. He's on that kind of pace this year, and his earned run average is better. His best career earned run average in a season was that 3.01 mark in 07. And Davis cuts and misses. Down he goes. A strikeout for Lackey. That's his first.
A big hanging breaking ball. Davis started the bat, then tried to hold up too late. That was a hanger, and Davis couldn't hold up. The pitch before that is the one that Davis wanted. It was a hanger right down the middle of the plate and fouled it off. Those are the pitches you have to take advantage of with Lackey. You know, sometimes he will make mistakes early in the game.
One gone, runner at first. Shane Peterson at the plate, getting the start in center field tonight. Domingo Santana gets the night off. Peterson made 19 starts as a center fielder. And that's on the ground. Chance for two. 4-6-3 double play. Second double play of the night for Lackey. Two in the books here at Miller Park. It's 2-0 Cardinals.
Head to the third here at Miller Park. Jimmy Nelson back to work on the mound, and Bucks point guard Michael Carter-Williams was on hand to get things warmed up for him, and he maybe could have used some pointers from Jimmy Nelson tonight. First pitch, not quite a strike. Went off the camera. Joe Crawford there for the save, but Michael Carter-Williams was kind enough to join us on Brewers Live pregame to talk about the Bucks season coming up, training camp just under 2 weeks away, what he learned from Coach Kidd, and said he grew up playing baseball, quit in 8th grade. He was actually a catcher, if you can believe that, standing at 6'6", and played center field as well. But could have used some first pitch pointers today.
No doubt. That's a WP for MCW.
Drilled that camera, didn't he?
That's a bit of a demerit for Joe Crawford, isn't it? Just a little. I mean, as the ceremonial first pitch catcher, that comes with a lot of responsibility.
Well, you got to be ready for a bad pitch. I mean, by definition, ceremonial first pitch.
And then he's all smiles.
A little bit late. Boom. Cameraman. You all right?
He's fine.
That's going to leave a mark.
Camera's fine. He's fine. Everybody's fine. MCW lost a few cool points, but he's okay too. I'm sure that won't be seen tonight on the highlight shows.
No. His teammates are going to talk about it.
Matt Carpenter again, a base hit. He's found his stroke and he's on his way to second, and Peterson just fumbling with the ball, and now he's on his way to third, and that is just awful. That is awful. Can't let that happen. Yeah. Peterson is as hard-nosed as it gets. This guy plays hard every day, but he let it get away from him right there.
No, the problem that he had was he was trying to be real quick to try and get Carpenter at second base. He's going to lift his head up, and right there just can't get a handle on it. And by that time, Matt Carpenter, hustling all the way, gets into third base, give him a double and an error, and allowing him to get to third base. Man.
Now that looks real bad. So a runner at third to start the inning now. Here's Tommy Pham, who's having a huge couple of days. 4 ribbies last night on 3 hits. He's already driven in a run with a triple tonight.
Well, the Brewers, I think, want to see if he can handle a pitch inside. He's been able to handle pitches away from him and down the middle. What does he do on a pitch inside? That power sinker from Jimmy Nelson. He's throwing the first 2 in there. Going back away.
Oh, no. That's a shot. Nelson's down. Carpenter's going to come in to score. And the ball's still live here, still in play. Pham to second. Jimmy Nelson is down. This is not good. Oh, my goodness. You can see the reaction of Tommy Pham. Pham really bothered by what he saw. He had the best look at it. Everybody on the Brewers bench. And Nelson up to his knees now. Wow. I was not expecting that soon.
Yeah, how great is that right there to see him get up. And Dan Wright going through the concussion protocol, making sure he's all right, checking his neck. Making sure that he's aware of what's going on around him.
Athletic trainer Dan Wright talking to him. His assistant Dave Yeager. I don't know if I'm misinterpreting this. It looks like Jimmy's trying to talk his way into the game here. Dan Wright said no chance.
Yeah, not going to happen.
So out he goes. And that was one scary line drive. He is very fortunate to be walking off under his own power here.
That's about the best case scenario right there. Walking off under his no power, no visible blood. And I just hope he's going to be all right.
Wow. Let's see where it hit him. We're going to have a delay here. Nobody warming up, so they get plenty of time. That hit him right the side of the head.
Yeah, right up above. It looked like it missed his temple, which is certainly good.
Exit velocity on this ball was 104 miles per hour.
It didn't hit him in the face area on the top of the head, which I would imagine, I guess that's a break.
Well, Pham certainly shaken up by what he saw. It goes as a double and an RBI for Pham officially. And we're going to have a delay here as the Brewers make the call to their bullpen. And David Goforth will get all the time he needs to get loose. And Sophia is down there, and she'll keep a close eye on Jimmy Nelson. And as soon as we get word, we will pass it along here. But very fortunate, Jimmy able to walk off under his own power. That was not expected after seeing the ball ricochet like that. So Goforth will take his time, make sure he's good and ready. Umpires will give him all he needs. We'll take a commercial break. His latest line drive off the head of Jimmy Nelson. Nelson taken out. And David Goforth is continuing his warm-ups here in the third inning. The Cardinals have scored a run. That RBI by Pham makes it 3-0 St. Louis. And Scooter Gennett and Pham talking it over. And you're right, Rock. Great point about that missing his temple by inches.
Yeah.
Or else we could have had a very scary situation here. It was scary enough, but I was shocked. Jimmy got to his knees as fast as he did, then able to walk off under his own power. And I'd be curious to find out from the athletic trainers. Unless I'm misinterpreting it, it looked like he was trying to continue on in this game.
Yeah, tough kid, but there's no way you keep him in there. I mean, you got to go through the testing. You got to, make sure he's okay. It's not just what he's feeling right now, but this concussion stuff, can really get bad as the night goes on. Brewers already have one guy that's suffering with a concussion. That's Jonathan Lucroy. And for Tommy Pham, he was really shaken up initially, but you got to believe he's feeling much better at this point, knowing that Jimmy Nelson was able to get up and walk off under his own power.
All right, put this on tape. Check this out. As we were in commercial, not this part, but in a moment, you see the line drive, and so he gets hit right above the ear, and then as he comes out, he walks off under his own power, and he's hot. He is angry. Dan Wright's trying to get him into the clubhouse.
Tough kid. Real tough kid.
Boy, I mean to tell you, that's a high pain threshold.
Yeah.
No, it's scary. He's very fortunate. Pitcher is in a vulnerable position. It's 60 feet 6 inches from the mound, the rubber, to the plate. And by the time a guy like Jimmy Nelson, who's 6'5", by the time he throws it, what's he, 56 feet or so?
Yeah, about 4 feet closer once he gets rid of the baseball and finally collects himself.
And that ball came off the bat of Tommy Pham at 104 miles per hour. So there is no time to get out of the way of that one. If you're wondering, you have to warm up on the game mound when you have an injury situation.
And you get as much time as you want. No limit.
And the umpires will allow you to throw until you tell them you're ready, but they will not allow you to throw in the bullpen, which is a much more comfortable place for somebody to warm up. It can be a little strange, unnerving to warm up on the game mound in front of a big crowd and everybody's waiting and the organ's playing, and
sometimes you rush. I mean, you say you're ready before you actually are, and then you start giving up hits. But Goforth, a relief pitcher by trade, so he knows how long it takes for him to get loose.
So Nelson is out. He goes 2+ innings, giving up 5 hits and 3 runs. And an injury replacement, David Goforth, his 15th outing of the season. All of them out of the bullpen.
Never last pitched on Friday against the Pirates in Pittsburgh. Gave up a couple of runs in 2 innings. Look for extended innings out of Goforth, maybe 2-3 innings if he's able to do it.
Here's Jason Hayward with Pham at second base. There is an element of danger in this game that we take for granted. Even folks like us, we see it all the time. We see games every day and so many pitches, but you forget how hard these baseballs are being hit, how hard they're being thrown.
And everybody's vulnerable, right? You hitters, pitchers, everybody. But you have to get that out of your mind when you're competing.
It's not just recovering from the injury, or in this case for Jimmy Nelson, I'm sure there was a lot of fear there right in the beginning, but he's able to walk off. But he's got to go back out there and make another start at some point. And that's a memory that can be tough to shake sometimes.
And my guess is he's not going to have much of a problem with it. Tough kid.
It was about this time last year when Giancarlo Stanton was hit in the face and That was a devastating injury, and he had to leave the game on a stretcher. Major fractures requiring a lot of surgery and plastic surgery, and he came back well this year. He came back. He didn't have another at-bat last season, but he's on the DL now with a wrist injury. As Hayward delivers one to right, Pham is coming home. The throw from Braun is late, and the Cardinals are having their way early tonight. It's now 4-0 St. Louis. Jason Hayward with an RBI single.
Well, the Brewers are in kind of tough shape with their long relief. They used 2 of them in yesterday's game. Cravey went 2. He's a long reliever. Kyle Lowe threw 2 innings yesterday. The Brewers don't have a lot of long relievers that they can go to, and Willie Peralta only went 4 innings in yesterday's game. So back-to-back very short starts for the Brewers and putting a lot of pressure on this bullpen.
Well, and down in a hole early, 4-0 as Johnny Peralta steps in. Check on the runner at first. Hayward, a threat to steal, their stolen base leader. Nobody out, 3rd inning. Jimmy Nelson out, hit by a line drive off the bat of Pham, right on the side of the head above the ear. Popped him up. Braun will give it a look. It's slicing, and that one's in the seats. Cardinals are headed to Chicago after the game tonight. They start a series with the Cubs tomorrow afternoon. Longtime rivals, the Cardinals and the Cubs. That is a 3-game series. The Brewers will welcome in the Reds, who are already in Milwaukee. Had an overnight flight from the Bay Area last night. And the Reds and the Brewers will start a 3-game series tomorrow night. That'll finish the homestand for the Brew Crew. And then one last road trip, a 3-city 9-game road trip, or 10-game road trip, I should say. And then the last 3 games of the year right here at Miller Park against the Cubs.
And that could mean something, right? I mean, you don't know. Who knows what's going to happen in another couple of weeks. But the way it looks right now, it might not. But for these 3 teams, a lot of baseball to be played.
And right now, the Pirates would host the Cubs in a wild card playoff game as it stands. Cubs are only 2 back in that one. If they leapfrog the Pirates, and they would host. There's a base hit. Peralta sends one into the gap. Hayward's on his way to third base. And Peralta's in there with a double, and that throw gets away, and now Hayward is coming home, and he will slide in safely. This is as bad as the Brewers have played all season.
They're just sloppy. Throws coming in and not being handled, and bobbling balls, and the Cardinals certainly look like the team that are going to the postseason. They are taking advantage of every mistake the Brewers are making, taking the extra bases, looking to take the extra base. Look at Hayward. He sees that ball go in, kind of trickles into the infield. Segura wasn't able to handle it, and he's able to score.
There's just no urgency on the part of Segura. And Hayward able to score another run. It's 5-0. 4 straight hits to start the inning. And here is Matt Adams. So how about those Biloxi Shuckers, Rock?
They're doing well, aren't they?
That's what we're left with. Might see a few of those guys here in the big leagues.
Let's see. You can understand, maybe not getting hits and giving up hits, giving up runs, but no excuse for the errors that the Brewers have made tonight. None. Concentration, focus. This hasn't been there tonight. Not yet. Who got the error anyway?
I believe it was Peterson, who has 2 errors tonight. I think that probably falls more on Segura than Peterson. I didn't think the throw was that poor.
It short hopped him, but certainly one you have to handle.
Well, the Brewers got down 5-0 last night, came back, made it a 1-run game as Adams turns on one, pulls it foul.
Maybe gonna hit the reset button on this game.
That'd be nice.
Start over.
A mulligan.
We were just kidding.
Is that allowed in fantasy camp?
No.
No.
Nowhere. Only in video games.
It's not a bad idea, though. Send everybody up there in a 2-strike count.
Not even in fantasy camp.
That'll liven it up a little bit. How is fantasy camp coming, by the way, Rock?
Coming nicely. 2 signups yesterday. We're filling up.
You know what's great about fantasy camp? The sun.
Many things.
Had the shift on and right into it. Adams bounces out. Runner advances to third. And there is the first out of the 3rd inning.
Yeah, the sun in
green grass.
The sun in green grass in February.
The things you take for granted. Brewers.com/fantasy camp. That's all the stuff you get. Round trip airfare. You get the athletic trainer. The same training staff that just worked on Jimmy Nelson will be there for you as well.
Yep, 414-321-8605. Robin Yount's coming. Bob Uecker's going to stop by, sign some autographs.
Nice.
Looking forward to it.
That's a good get.
Big spike, Gorman and Gumby. Have you ever seen those two together in fantasy camp? Were they there when you were there?
Yes, they were.
That is a show to itself. That's worth the price of admission.
Right. Gorman did a lot of sitting in the corner, but he was a very intimidating yet quiet man.
But that's what he does. I hire him to do that. Nobody does a better job sitting around than Gorman.
He's a corner sitter.
He can eat.
0-2 on Wong. Yeah, happy belated birthday to Robin Yount. He turned 60 yesterday. The greatest Brewer of them all. Still call him the kid, though.
Yep. Always will be.
A strikeout for Goforth.
There's a nice pitch right there. Had a little cut on it going down and in.
Second out of the inning. First strikeout for Goforth.
Good pitch, and Wong coming up empty. Goforth attacking the strike zone. 3 pitches, he gets him.
Ball had a little cut on it, just enough. Down and in on the left-handed hitter. So 2 outs, runner at third. Here is Tony Cruz.
It's going to be interesting to see how Craig Counsell navigates his way through this game tonight with the way the bullpen has been. Used them a lot. There haven't been too many long starts for the Brewers as of late. This run through the rotation, a lot of very short starts.
Brewers have 10 relievers in the bullpen. And just going to have to ask innings out of your regular guys, the guys you use when you have a lead. Now, they haven't pitched much lately. Had a day off Monday. All hands on deck to try to get to the end of this one. Jimmy Nelson leaving with an injury. in this third inning after being hit by a line drive off the bat of Tommy Pham. Right off his head. Hope Jimmy's okay. Looked like he was. He walked off and then went to the clubhouse. He looked like he was actually angry he had to come out. But a very scary scene here at Miller Park.
Probably angry about a lot of things. You know, giving up hits, getting hit, having to exit the ball game.
Two-two to Cruz. Now 2 games that are final. We mentioned the Cubs beating the Pirates today. Oakland was in Chicago and they beat the White Sox 4-2. 9 games on the schedule. That Astros Rangers series concludes tonight. Texas has been able to pass the Astros in the American League West, and they won again last night. Ground ball to Jeanette, and that will retire the side. Scary inning for Jimmy Nelson. Goforth coming out of the pen for the injury, and it's 5-0 Cardinals.
Tonight's time of the game winner, Uncle Johnny's in Heartland. Isn't that your neck of the woods?
That's my people.
Yeah. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to an April or May 2016 Brewers home game. It's all for courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. I'm sure you've been there a bunch.
I have not been to Uncle Johnny's, but I hear it's highly recommended.
Maybe we should go.
It's pretty much just the post office and Syndics.
That's it
for me. That's about my reach. I know I got to get out more.
What do you do, buy stamps? Or?
Yeah, I like going to the post office. I know you don't really need to, but I like to. It's like the hardware store. I go to the hardware store all the time. Something about the smell of a local hardware store, right?
And what do you buy at the hardware store?
Well, you know, a couple of screws, some bolts.
You give them to the guy doing
nuts
the work?
and bolts. Sometimes nuts, sometimes bolts.
Do you have a drill?
Of course I have a drill. Everybody's got to have a drill. I even used my drill today. Speaking of, I need to borrow your truck next few days. Got a lot of stuff to haul.
You got to fill it with
to
gas?
the hardware store.
You got to fill it with gas this time?
No, I can't afford your gas.
Brought it back on empty?
Guzzles.
Where'd you go anyway?
Ground ball to second. And Segura
drive to Minneapolis and back, or what?
You know, I only had it for 24 hours, but it's amazing how far you can go in that big Dodge Ram pickup. You know, actually, I filled it up before I got to the ballpark. It was on empty.
Bird's gas is idling.
Took the long way.
You know what they tell me about the Ram? It's not miles per gallon, it's smiles per gallon.
Oh, that's nice.
See, that's an old salesman.
That is a good
That's
sales.
my buddy Pete Urkel over there. He's always, yeah.
I like that. Smiles per gallon. Maldonado turns one around, a base hit. That ball was hit well. Martin hit a 3-run home run last night. Back in there tonight and delivers with a single.
Yeah, get some playing time, take advantage of it. He got a sinker up in his zone and a base hit for Martin. Hit that one hard. Hit the home run in last night's game into right center.
And Goforth trying to bunt him over. Brewers forced to have their relief pitcher bat here. The injury by Jimmy Nelson, line drive off the head. He had to come out of the game in the 3rd inning. Goforth gave up 2 hits to start it, then retired the next 3 in order. And Counsell needs innings out of Goforth here tonight. There's a good bunt. Cruz bobbles it again, and still gets him.
Well, it's like trying to grab a greased pig out there tonight, isn't it? Guy just can't get a handle. Well, Cruz picks up his head and bobbles it, almost not able to get the out. Well, we're on the end of the fingers, comes up too soon, but able to get the out anyway.
Top of the order here is Jeanette. Jeanette fouls one off. Brewers trying to put one on the board. Down 5-0 last night. Scored 4 to get within a run, all in 1 inning. And just couldn't quite get over the hump last night. Jeanette up there with 2 away. Maldonado, who singled with 1 out at second base, bunted there by Goforth. And it goes to 3-1.
Always a question whether that long layoff for John Lackey, a lot of time between innings, affects him at all. He doesn't have the location that he had in the first 2 innings.
Quick chat, Tony Cruz and John Lackey.
Big difference between you know, the way Yadier Molina runs a game. Tony Cruz, Lackey wants to go out and talk to Cruz. Normally, when you have a meeting with Yadier Molina in the game, it's Molina wants to say something to the pitcher. Very rarely is it the other way around. Good solid backup catcher. Doesn't get a whole lot of playing time. That might change down the stretch here. Cardinals are able to keep a comfortable lead. Give Molina some time off. Get him fresh for the postseason.
Full count, 2 outs. Maldonado at second base. Jeanette hanging tough, fighting him off. Another 3-2 pitch, and that's ball 4. Jeanette draws the walk. Good at bat by Scooter Jeanette. And a 2-out walk makes it 1st and 2nd. We have an update on Jimmy Nelson, who left this game in the top of this inning after being hit in the head by a line drive. And let's check in with Sophia for more on that. What do you have, Sophia?
Well, an update from the Brewers just a few minutes ago. Jimmy Nelson left Miller Park. He's on his way to a local hospital for a CT scan, but the team said he is lucid and they'll provide updates.
Okay, thanks, Sophia, as Herrera lines out to end the inning. Well, we lost a great member of the broadcasting community and the baseball community today, and one of my mentors, Milo Hamilton, passed away at age 88. Longtime Houston Astros announcer, been an Astros announcer since the 80s, and he's probably most famous for calling Henry Aaron's famous 715th home run. Milo Hamilton passed away today at the age of 88. We're going to miss him. Holy Toledo, Milo. Cardinals lead 5-0 as we head to the top of the 4th inning. Redbirds coming to bat. Yeah, always good eats here at Miller Park. And it is now time for you to tweet us your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag WishDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. David Goforth will start a clean inning, and the first man up is Brandon Moss. That's a base hit. Moss will hold at first, a leadoff single, and the Cardinals with leadoff hits in each of the first 4 innings of this game.
They're getting some good pitches to hit. Goforth getting a lot of the play with that last fastball, and Moss with his first hit. Well, a lot of base hits already, 8 of them for the Cardinals in the first 3+ innings.
That'll bring up John Lackey. Likely up there to bunt. He squares early. Well, a good report on Jimmy Nelson from the Brewers clubhouse. And let's just hope everything is all right with Jimmy. Sometimes there can be lingering effects, but the fact that he's lucid is a good sign.
Yeah, no kidding. You expect the worst when you see something like that, but I can't imagine a better scenario when he walked off the mound. At least for now.
And Lackey gets a bunt down. Goforth will make the play for the out. That'll be a sacrifice bunt.
Hey, make sure you're at Miller Park this Sunday afternoon as the Brewers and the Reds wrap up their weekend series. All fans in attendance will get a Scooter Jeanette Garden Gnome courtesy of Waterstone Bank. Reserve your spot today. Call 414-902-4000 or go to brewers.com/. Bucks last tickets. Blow a bubble, Scooter. Nope.
Do it. Next time. Maybe next time. You got one more of those to read. Maybe a couple more.
I can read it again.
Matt Carpenter. He's been hot tonight again. 2 hits tonight. He and Pham were driving the Cardinal bus yesterday offensively. Carpenter homered yesterday to center field. Runner at second, 1 away. Carpenter pulls one right to Jeanette. And the first time he's been retired this evening. 2 outs in the inning. Cardinals have a runner at third.
Good pitch by Goforth, keeping the ball down in the zone and got his ground ball. The other 2 pitches that Carpenter hit, and we're up in the zone.
Well, Tommy Pham, look at his last 6 plate appearances. Even that fly out yesterday in the 8th inning was at the wall. Cardinals keep finding production. They have injuries that they have overcome this year in a very impressive way. 91 wins, 54 losses, and they've dealt with as many significant injuries as anybody in the big leagues.
Yes, they have. I mean, big time. Adam Wainwright. We talked about Carpenter. Adams has been out. John Jay's missed a lot of time. Pham's what, about 6th on the depth chart in the outfield, and guys go down. Holiday goes down, and then they bring up Grichuk, and Grichuk goes down. Then they have Piscotty and Pham filling in. Yeah, list goes on and on.
Tommy Pham is down on strikes, so Goforth strands a runner at third base. A scoreless inning for Goforth on 9 pitches. Ryan Braun will bat for Milwaukee. Back in the lineup after tightness in the back last night. Lackey back to work. Our Carsoup.com trivia: which 2 active pitchers have started the most postseason games? Good question. Active pitchers, most postseason games.
Good one.
John Lackey has had his fair share of postseason moments, and at 36 years of age, he's certainly been around a while. He was on that Angels World Series championship team in '02 as a 23-year-old. He and Frankie Rodriguez were teammates on that team. As a matter of fact, that was Lackey's rookie season in 2002. He and Rodriguez were prize prospects coming up through the Angels minor league system, and they both made major contributions to the Angels in the postseason. As Braun strikes out, Lackey on 3 pitches puts Braun down.
Yeah, Lackey got a call on a pitch on the outside corner and then came inside on him. So rocking the boat on Brian, or I should say Brawny. First 2 pitches away, then comes in and gets the strikeout.
Lackey made 2 postseason starts last year. Traded from the Red Sox to the Cardinals, and he had a good start in the division series against the Dodgers. Actually got a win in that game in his lone start in the LDS. And as Lynn goes to the opposite field, and it's another hit. John Lackey, for whatever reason, cannot solve the riddle of Adam Lind. He's 2 for 2 tonight, and now 18 for 39 his career. It's about a .450 batting average.
Not a bad pitch. It might have been up just a touch, but Adam Lind going right with it on a pitch away. 2 for 2, and just seems to own John Lackey.
Here's Chris Davis. Powerball home run leaderboard. You see Davis there with 21 home runs. He's just 4 behind Ryan Braun in 160 fewer at bats. He's been on a home run binge, has Davis. He's homering about every 9 at bats since August 6th. That's the best home run percentage in the big leagues, even better than guys like Yoenis Cespedes, who's garnering a lot of headlines right now. Edwin Encarnacion of the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
David Ortiz of the Red Sox. There's Chris Davis right at the top of the list. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that gets away from Cruz, and Lind on his way to second base. It'll be a wild pitch.
The Brewers have had a hit in every inning. Second time they've had a man at second base.
Hitters count for Davis. Struck out his last time up. Brewers could use a quick strike here. Trying to get this crowd going a little bit. It's been a sloppy game for the Brewers. Have a couple of errors defensively. And a scare with Jimmy Nelson taking the line drive off the head. As Sophia reported, he is at the hospital being evaluated, but it is lucid, and just for precautionary reasons going to have a CT scan if you're just picking us up. We're thinking about Jimmy. But did walk off under his own power and looks to be okay in that regard. Timeout was asked for and granted. I think it was Davis who called it. I'm not sure. Umpires don't have to give you timeout. You can ask all you want, but you always have to be ready to hit. And that's what Davis did right there. Right off the end of the bat. Right to second base. And there is out number 2.
A good slider off the corner, and Davis right off the end of the bat. Adam Lind to third base. Just you never know what you're going to get out of John Lackey. I mean, he throws all 4 of his pitches at any time. He has a curveball that'll throw. He'll throw a lot of changeups to lefties, but more sliders and curveballs to right-handers. Good slider that time.
Now here's Shane Peterson. Bounced into a 4-6-3 double play in his first at bat. He's committed 2 errors, although the second one probably, even though you put it on Peterson, Segura could have made a better play on that. But that's a tough night at the office so far. So Peterson trying to flip the script a little bit.
Driving a run, get a base hit. They play him pretty shallow in the outfield except for right.
Has 1 career home run in the big leagues. Peterson muscles that one to third, and Carpenter makes a catch, and that will retire the side. 5-0 St. Louis. 4 innings in the books at Miller Park.
With a 5-0 lead, we check in with the Biloxi Shuckers. They are in Game 2 of the Southern League Championship Series. They are trailing 1-0, top of the 5th. Adrian Hauser is on the mound. He's one of the prospects collected in the trade with the Houston Astros, and the Biloxi Shuckers are actually being no-hit. Still looking for their first hit of the night, looking for a comeback just like the Brewers here.
All right, Sophia. She's on the Shucker watch. Jason Wheeler spinning a dandy against the Shuckers tonight. We need some like Shucker update music for Sophia.
Yeah.
Any Shucker themed music you can think of?
Maybe a Buffett song. You know,
not a bad idea.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little parrot head action. I'm with you.
Peeling, shucking oysters.
Okay. Good job, Rock. Significant contributions tonight. Sure, our man Eric West, fantastic audio engineer, will cook up something for us.
A little 5 o'clock somewhere.
That's a common phrase around here. Hayward leads away, and a line drive caught by Jeanette. Up the ladder he goes.
Well, perfectly timed lead, but wasn't hit all that hard off the end of the bat. Watch Jeanette. He's got to wait. He gets it at the top of his jump.
Well done.
Well timed. Didn't jump too soon. Able to haul it in.
Milo Hamilton used to say the mighty might played big there.
I always loved seeing Milo in Houston.
Yeah, he's going to be missed.
Used to throw the peanuts out to the fans, 7th inning stretch.
Cracker Jacks and peanuts. He didn't like when the opposition announcers threw out those Cracker Jacks and peanuts either. He'd let us know about it. These are my fans.
Yeah.
First time I ever met Milo, I was introduced as the this is a minor league broadcaster in San Antonio. And he said, well, nice to meet you. Better you than me.
Was that the day I met you?
I know that was a bigger blow off since you didn't even remember that.
Vasgersian brought you in. Just trotted you through like all the other ones that he brought in.
Thanks to Matt Vasgersian.
That was at the Astrodome.
Yeah. Yep.
I was impressed by you then.
I'm sure you were. It made quite an impact. You know what the beer vendors used to say at the Astrodome? They'd say, beer here, the coldest foam in the dome.
That was a big joint. That big place was huge, wasn't it?
Exploding scoreboard. Peralta rolls to third, and another Brewers error. Man, there are no words. This has been the ugliest game of the year, easily. 3 errors already.
And it's not even hit that hard. A couple of hops to Herrera right under the glove and deflects it away from Segura.
So Peralta will reach on an E5. Man.
Not much you can say about it. Speaks for itself.
Slow roller, and Jeanette's going to second out there. So getting the lead out. A couple of slow movers on the base paths. Adam is on with a fielder's choice.
They take a man out of scoring position, and Matt Adams, who's been hampered by a bad thigh, you know he's not going to run all that well. He's upset with himself. He didn't hit that one harder. He's in spring training mode right now.
He's got a good sweat going tonight. Roof is closed. The panels are closed. There's rain outside Miller Park.
It was humid down on the field for batting practice.
Got a bit of that sauna feel.
Talking to Jerry Naron after he threw batting practice. He was wet. He was soaked.
It's good sweat.
There's Jerry, much more, not as wet right now, but a little bit more upset, I would imagine.
Yeah, no doubt. You know what he needs? He needs the breeze machine, Rock.
Breeze machine's on its last leg. I hate to tell you.
Breeze machine had a bit of the Fonzie treatment yesterday to get working again. Could be the last year for the breeze machine.
Yeah, I'm going to have to invest.
Well, those things will set you back a little bit too. What, about $8?
$8.
There's a shot into right field. And Braun backhands it. Will keep Adams at second base. Colton Wong with a single. He's 2 for 3 tonight.
I had the old breeze machine for about 10 years. It's missing parts.
I've only known the breeze machine here in this booth in my time.
Right. Works good. Doesn't make any noise. But it's on life support. I have a tough time getting it going most nights.
Oh, man. There are a million punchlines to that. So anyway, here's Tony Cruz.
You're a bigger man than that. I mean, it's too easy for a guy like you.
Away.
Right? You got a bit more of a challenge than that. We all know what you're thinking.
Just go for it, trying to strand a pair. 1 ball, 1 strike. Did you say something, Rock?
No. I'm waiting to see if you're going to keep going.
Anyway, how about them Biloxi Shuckers, man?
Got to get a hit. They need a hit.
Get it going. Can't lose a game in the playoffs. They haven't lost yet. 1 ball, 1 strike on Cruz. coming our way over there towards Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker.
Good to have Uke back at the ballpark. Didn't have him on the last road trip.
Could have used a little Bob Uecker on the last road trip.
Yeah. He's going to go on the next trip. He's going to Chicago and St. Louis.
All right. No San Diego.
No.
His weather's too harsh. One and two now. Cruz into right center field. Braun is right there. That had a lot of slice on it. And Braun makes a play. Go for it. Stranding two more.
For the Biloxi Shuckers, it is the same score. We'll update you again. Game 2, Southern League Championship Series. Adrian Hauser gave up a grand slam in the 5th. They now trail 2-0. Jacob Barnes came in from the bullpen to end Hauser's night. So still looking for their first hit. Now find themselves in a big hole tonight, guys.
All right. Thanks, Sophia. Sounded like the little Shucker music there, right?
Yeah.
Had a little bit of a festive Delta sound.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good work.
Not Jimmy Buffett, though.
Not bad. Well, we can't afford that.
Now you got to pay for that.
Very, very pricey.
You can use it once, can't you? Just mix it up a little bit. Something different.
I don't think so. John Lackey working on a shutout, a 4-hit shutout through the first 4 innings. Brewers have had a man on in every inning. But Lackey has gotten 2 double plays and has stranded 3 Brewers thus far. Cardinals with 5 runs on 9 hits. Brewers have committed 3 errors. And the Brewers starter Jimmy Nelson hit in the head by a line drive tonight off the bat of Tommy Pham in the 3rd inning and had to leave the game. And the reports are good if you're just joining us. Even though they're taking Jimmy to the hospital and he's there now and evaluating him as Segura strikes out.
Well, Segura didn't bother running to first base. He just kind of walked on over to the dugout. I hate to see that. I mean, ball in the dirt, catcher blocks. You got to go to first. Got to try and run to first.
Brewers just not looking the part tonight. Well, last night, Martin Maldonado with the Brewers down 5-0, actually 5-1. He hit this 3-run homer to make it 5-4. It was his 4th home run on the Powerball home run count, and Maldonado with a clean single in the 3rd inning. So getting some playing time, and the batting average is up over 200 as Maldonado steps out on Lackey. Big scene last night in the Mariners-Angels game with a step out, a timeout call between Weaver and Seager. As Maldonado strikes out, back-to-back Ks for Lackey, his 4th. And that'll bring up Goforth again, his 2nd at-bat.
He's doing a nice job hitting up some innings for Craig Counsell tonight. Came in with nobody out in the 3rd inning. He's been able to eat up 3 so far.
Goforth shoots one foul. Look out over there. Well, you see it every day. A hitter will step out, timeout asked for. Remember, the Pirates did it 5 times to Zach Davies as Lackey makes quick work of Goforth. Strikes out the side in the 5th. Brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. Well, the Cardinals are out in front 5-0 as we go to the 6th inning. Fans enjoying themselves here at the climate-controlled Miller Park. As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. It comes to us from Tammy. Tammy sending us her shot, and we appreciate that. And she's on TV with one of our terrific ushers. Wonder if they're related. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #WishDataStrongFan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast, and it's brought to you by T-Mobile. David Goforth will continue on. Goforth got 3 outs in the 3rd in relief of Jimmy Nelson. who left with an injury, and then scoreless fourth, worked a scoreless fifth. So his fourth inning. Bullpen is active for the Brewers.
And Goforth has done yeoman's work here tonight.
Cesar Jimenez will be next. Love to see if Goforth could get through this sixth inning. Well, Brandon Moss, acquired from the Indians by the Cardinals. They were trying to settle their first base situation after the Matt Adams injury. Does have 4 home runs for him, but Moss has been scuffling at the plate. He's hitting just .223 as a member of the Cardinals. In the American League with the Indians, Moss hit just .217, but had 15 homers.
15 homers, 50 RBIs.
Had a huge year last year with Oakland. Cardinals acquired Moss. They acquired Jonathan Broxton. Man, Goforth strikes him out. Put one in on his hands.
Been an effective pitch for David Goforth. That fastball in. Got a little bit of a cut to it on the glove side. He struck out Colton Wong on a good pitch on the inside corner to the left-hander. Does the same to Moss.
It's a real good pitch against a left-handed batter. You're always looking for that pitch to control the lefties. Lackey takes a strike.
I like the way he's pouring in the strikes too. Well, you always have to find a silver lining to a start to a game like tonight. So yeah, Greg Counsell's got to be very happy with the way David Goforth has been going about his business here tonight.
Well, it makes you wonder if he was all the way loose when we resumed action in the third inning. He had to warm up because of the injury to Nelson. He had to warm up on the game mound. There's always a little anxiety with that, I think, talking to pitchers who have done it. And so his first 2 batters, he gave up hits. Hayward and Peralta, both with RBIs. But he hasn't given up anything since. And he punches out Lackey for the second out of the inning. And the 4th K for Goforth.
A heck of a slider that time. Hey, a reminder, this Saturday is Fan Appreciation Night. Presented by Chevrolet. The Brewers host the Reds, and all fans at Miller Park will be automatically entered to win a number of great prizes, including a grand prize of a brand new Chevy Trax. For details, go to brewers.com/fan appreciation.
Matt Carpenter with 2 away. The last 5 outs have been via the strikeout. Lackey struck out the side in the 5th, and Goforth trying to strike out the side here in the 6th. Although Carpenter's a tough guy to do that with. And he's swinging the bat well right now. 2 hits tonight. Multi-hit game in back-to-back games. High fly ball, deep right, way gone. Matt Carpenter with his career best 23rd home run of the season, and he makes it 6-0 St. Louis. There was no doubt about that one, and that little cut fastball you're talking about, Rock, went right into the wheelhouse.
Yeah, but didn't get in. It stayed down the middle of the plate. Boom. And Matt Carpenter knocks one out of here halfway up that second deck. Big fly.
A strike to Tommy Pham. Strike 2. It was the line drive off the bat of Pham that injured Nelson. Has a triple and a double tonight. halfway to a cycle, figures to get 2 at-bats. And that's a called strike 3. Go for it. Rings the bell. He does strike out the side, but a Matt Carpenter homer makes it 6-0.
Looking for a Brewers comeback as they trail 6-0 here in the 6th. And for their crew in the community tonight, Brewers fans have been phenomenal throughout the 2015 season, and they're asking you to participate in the final drive for charity starting tomorrow. This weekend as the Brewers take on the Reds. When you can come to Miller Park, be sure to bring warm hats, mittens, scarves for young kids that may be in need this fall and winter season, or you can bring a contribution of $5 and you'll receive a commemorative player pin for your donation. So again, that's this weekend, the weekend series over the Reds, the final BCF drive for charity.
All right, thanks, Sophia. We certainly encourage you to participate in that. A lot of kids out there need that, and you can provide some warm clothing for them, coats and mittens and scarves, and try to help them through the harsh Wisconsin winter. Scooter Gennett will lead off, followed by Herrera, then Braun. It's been an ugly duckling tonight for the Brewers, but they got a lot of baseball to play. Trying to get something going against John Lackey, who is working on a 4-hit shutout through 5. He is coming off an inning where he struck out the side. Gennett back up the middle, a base hit. Now the Cardinals get a lot out of Johnny Peralta at the plate, and he usually makes plays on balls he can get to, but he does not have much range anymore, and Scooter Gennett able to rip one by him.
Which is one of the reasons why he doesn't make too many errors. I mean, a lot of errors that shortstops and middle infielders make are on baseballs that they have to go a long way to get and then maybe make a bad throw. But, Johnny Peralta, he will make a play on anything he can get to. Not only does he not have a lot of range, he doesn't have a great throwing arm. He gets rid of it very quickly, but those long throws, sometimes he's not able to get outs.
So Elian Herrera with Gennett at first. It's another guy with good numbers against John Lackey in his career. I mean, very small sample size, but Herrera's homered against Lackey in his career and is now 3 for 6 again. Make it 3 for 7 against him with that home run.
That's the thing. The Brewers have some players in their lineup that have had good success against Lackey, but they haven't been able to beat him. Haven't beat him this year. They only beat him once in his career. Gennett, Herrera, Lind, Segura all have good numbers career against Lackey. Team just can't win the games.
Well, when you get a few hits, that produces good memories. Good memories produce confidence, and at this level, sometimes confidence is the difference. With the talent that is here in the big leagues. You don't make it this far without significant talent.
No doubt. And confidence.
And so you know, I always felt like there were two kinds of players, that the player that is always confident no matter what, and then the success follows the confidence, as Herrera draws a walk. So 2 on to start the 6th inning, and here comes Ryan Braun. Speaking of confidence, nobody has more than this guy, and he'll step up there with a chance to turn this game around. Carsoup.com trivia: which 2 active pitchers have started the most postseason games? And the answer: Lackey and Sabathia. Lackey with 18 career starts in the postseason, making starts with the Angels, the Red Sox, and the Cardinals last season.
And not knowing what the future holds for Adam Wainwright as you head to the postseason, he's probably not going to be ready. That means a lot. That means the world to the Cardinals as they enter postseason. Have a guy that's had that much success and that much experience when it counts the most.
Well, Tim Hudson's in his final year announced. You might see Cole Hamels pitching in the postseason once again. Now for the Texas Rangers, a first-place team. Sabathia trying to come back from an injury as well, and we'll see if the Yankees make it. Right now the Yankees are in the top wild card spot in the American League.
Now, getting back to the confidence thing, I mean, every player in the big leagues has a lot of confidence in himself, or because they wouldn't get there, but it takes a little bit more than confidence at the major league level. It's the ability to make adjustments, because pitchers are going to make adjustments on you, and hitters make adjustments if you're on the mound. You just have to be able to, do those types of things on a regular basis.
That was off the end of the bat, and coming in to make the catch is Pham. Braun had the swing. That was the home run swing, but off the end of the bat, and a routine out in center field, the first out of the inning for Lackey. Seems like the streaky players, those are the guys. I don't know if this is always the case, but a little success breeds that confidence, and then you keep it going. This game is such a beatdown, especially offensively, where there's so much failure.
Most hitters are streaky hitters, but the difference between the really good players, the MVP type players, are what are you doing for the team when you're not getting hits? Are you hitting a fly ball to drive in a run? Are you advancing base runners? Or are you just punching out every other time up?
Adam Lind on the first pitch flies out. So Lackey with 2 outs. Braun and Lind retired, and now 2 on with 2 away for Chris Davis. It's always a good stat to look at if you're looking at a hitter, how a hitter fares against. You could just break it down, either top 5 or top 10 in the league in ERA, or top 10 in the league in strikeouts. So you see how a hitter is performing against some of the elite pitchers, some of the best pitchers, and vice versa for pitchers. You like to see, if you take the top 10 in batting average, or the top 10 run producers or home run hitters, and then do the numbers on how a pitcher fares against those players. That gives you an idea of the level that player is at amongst his peers. There are a lot of guys that put up numbers against the mediocre big league player, which is still incredibly skilled.
But those are the guys you have to get fat on if you're a hitter, right? I mean, you're not going to get a lot of hits off of Lackey. You're not going to get hits off of the best in the business, Kershaw, Greinke, Bumgarner, those kind of guys. I mean, you can't expect to get 3-4 hits a game, but it's the average guys, the guys that don't have the good stuff. Those are the guys you have to hit. You talk all you want about confidence and making adjustments and the physical attributes, but I go back, and I always go back to Robin Yount in these situations. The one thing that Robin always did was hustle, no matter what was going on around him, regardless of what the score was, where the team was in the standings. what was going on. He's always going to run out a ground ball hard. He always did that. He and Molitor were very good at that. And for instance, tonight, I mean, you strike out and the ball's in the dirt, you run hard to first base. You just don't give up on those things. Those things look bad when you're not playing well. Hustle takes no ability whatsoever.
And it resonates to the dugout. Play hard, go hard. The other day on the road, the Brewers were down to their last out, and there was a bang-bang play at first base. The game was a bit of a blowout, and Craig Counsell challenged a play. And not that it would have mattered. I think the Brewers were down maybe 6 runs or so, but the idea that we're going to play this thing all the way till the end. Craig Counsell was that kind of player. He played that way, had a terrific career, been a part of big moments, and he's managing that way, and that sends that message that we're going to go all the way to the finish line here. So a game like this, I'm sure, has him infuriated. Runners go, and Lackey gets out of the inning. Goes through Braun, Lind, and Davis, and the Brewers strand 2. Still 6-0 Cardinals. iPod.
Yeah, that's a great tune too.
Proud to be an American. Excellent outfit, sir. Not away. You win. You win. Best dressed. Well, this weekend you can help the Brewers Community Foundation stuff the bus with winter gear for students in need. Attending Milwaukee Public Schools, you can bring your new or gently used hats, scarves, gloves, mittens to the Red Series Friday through Sunday. All fans making a donation or contributing $5 to the cause will receive a commemorative Chris Davis pin. Plus, on Sunday, look for the Fox Sports Wisconsin Fan Express bus to drop off your items. Details at foxsportswisconsin.com. Domingo Santana will take over in center field. Peterson slides over to left field. And the new pitcher will be Cesar Jimenez.
Yeah, double switch, so you figure Jimenez is going to get multiple innings here tonight. Yeah, it looked pretty good his last time out. That was yesterday. A scoreless inning. A scoreless 7. He struck out the side.
Chris Davis is out of the game. Jason Hayward leads off for the Cardinals. Well, in a game like this, you're looking for innings, and David Goforth gave Craig Counsell 4 of them, giving up 2 runs on 4 hits. Cubs have beaten the Pirates today, an afternoon game at PNC. Pittsburgh lost their third baseman Jung-Ho Kang is out for the season. A broken leg. Hayward, little tapper to Jimenez. There's out number 1.
Hey, tomorrow night the Brewers kick off their weekend series with the Reds, and it's part of Fan Appreciation Weekend. All fans at tomorrow's game will get a scratch-off card containing prizes such as free 2016 tickets, game-used jerseys, a team store shopping spree, and more. Visit Brewers.com for tickets.
Bring a penny. Johnny Peralta with one away in the 7th. That's a big loss for the Pirates. Kang out for the season. It was on a slide. Coughlin.
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
Yeah, broke his leg. And
he was huge, especially when the shortstop was out.
Well, the Pirates are fortunate that they have a guy like Josh Harrison who can certainly fill that role. Kang was having a great year, but Pittsburgh has depth. They have more depth this year than they have had in the PNC Park era of the Pirates.
And that includes their pitching staff as well. They got some guys that can run out there. They can rush it up there in the upper 90s.
And a strikeout on Peralta. So Jimenez punches out Johnny Peralta. And you hear the Cardinal fans drumming up an applause for Matt Holliday. His first at bat since coming back from the disabled list. And Matheny figuring this is as good a time as any to get him back in the mix. 63 games this year. A couple of trips on the disabled list. Quad injury for Holliday.
I saw him taking batting practice today. Looked pretty good, although he wasn't running at all.
He did run the bases here on Tuesday night.
Jimenez fell down. What hit? Didn't see what happened.
That line drive by Holliday hit a fan, and they may stop play here for a moment. Calling down the paramedics.
That was a screamer into the seats. Holliday a little bit late on it. Had a bullet. Even if you're watching the game, it's tough to get out of the way of that one.
And because of the position that it's in, which is down past the Brewers dugout, and they're going to just stop play. There's been a lot of talk about extending netting, and it's a discussion that's ongoing in baseball.
The question is, how far do you put the netting down?
Right.
I guess the guess would be, past the end of the dugouts.
Yeah, that wouldn't have
helped.
Wouldn't have helped in that case. But something that they have started to do in recent years, and it's smart. And even though we have a stoppage in play, but you never know. You could get a foul ball back up there. I think what we're starting to realize now, at least from a fan's perspective, is that it affects the players in a way that, as a fan, you never really thought about. And so players see this, and you don't want to put more fans in harm's way. Well, they are applauding here, but I would lead you to believe that things are turning out okay. Let's hope that's the case. Can't really see down there. He got hit right in the nose. See him walking up. So it's been a tough night at the ballpark with line drives. Yeah, he's walking off. The fan's walking off under his own power. That's a good sign. Scary.
Yeah, it is.
Man, this is one of those nights. So we'll regroup here. Holliday at an 0-1 count. First at bat for Matt Holliday since July 29th.
little tardy, as you would expect, right?
Holiday with just 4 home runs this year. And he's playing a lot. At over 200 at bats.
He doesn't have the power like he used to. Still a good run producer.
.167 batting average as a pinch hitter. Does include a double. It's just been one of those years for Holiday. Just can't get healthy. He's not. His quote today was, "I'm not interested in getting hurt again." So they're going to be patient with him. Take his time. He missed action for about 5 weeks from early June into the second week of July. Came back, got hurt again, and went on the disabled list again. He's a strikeout victim. Jimenez racking up the Ks here lately. 3 up, 3 down, 7th inning. And the Brewers would like to hit the reset button. Started early tonight. Tommy Pham with an RBI triple in the first inning. And then Pham line drive off the head of Jimmy Nelson. Nelson had to leave the game. Actually went to the hospital for observation. And more activity. A 3-run third inning for the Cardinals. RBIs from Hayward and Peralta in that inning. And then the Cardinals get a home run from Matt Carpenter in the 6th. And they lead it 6-0. And the report on Jimmy Nelson, Sophia reported that he was taken to the hospital for a CT scan, but was lucid, and he walked off the field under his own power. So gives you a little confidence that he's okay. But we're still awaiting official word from the Brewers. Changes there for St. Louis. You saw Brandon Moss now playing first base.
Yep, Borges in center. Pham moves to left field.
And Peterson strikes out. So John Lackey picking up his 7th K. And 5 of those have come in the last 3 innings, or last 2 1/3 innings.
And struck out the side in the 5th.
5 of the last 7 outs have been strikeouts for Lackey. Segura rolls to third base, and on 1 pitch, Segura's out. 2 up, 2 down. Home runs from big home run hitters tonight around baseball. Mike Trout went deep for a 2nd time tonight. His 38th home run of the season. Making a strong case at an MVP season. Angels are in Minnesota tonight, taking on the Twins. And the Angels lead that game 9-6. That's a big one for Minnesota. I mean, the Angels as well. Angels are on the outside looking in right now.
3.5 games back in the second wild card spot.
And the Angels are 5 games back of the Rangers in their division.
Twins a game and a half.
And the Angels are behind the Twins. The Yankees and the Astros are the 2 wild card teams in the American League right now, and the Minnesota a game and a half back, and then the Angels 3.5 back.
Houston Astros now in second place in the West. Boy, they had first place all year, didn't they?
And they're losing tonight again. Rangers have a 3-2 lead over Houston in the top of the 7th inning. Colby Lewis got the start for Texas tonight. What a story that's been. And a couple of former Brewers leading the charge there in Arlington. Giovanni Gallardo and Prince Fielder. Maldonado strikes out. John Lackey is dialed in 6 in a row now. That's his 8th punch out. And it's brought to you by the Marshfield Clinic. And how about Scooter Gennett climbing the ladder, taking a hit away from Jason Hayward. That was in the 5th inning. Even Michael Carter Williams, who threw out the first pitch tonight, will be impressed with that vertical leap. Yep. Scooter might have been able to touch the net right there.
I don't know. Well, the net, yeah. The rim. I bet he can hit the rim.
I don't know.
Great athlete he is.
He is. But he's starting as the underdog in that jump.
But can Michael Carter Williams hit a fastball?
No chance. He threw a fastball right off the cameraman earlier today. It's good to have him here at the ballpark. The Bucks are going to be good this year. And we welcome Gus Johnson to the Fox Sports Wisconsin family. He's going to be doing a few Bucks games with Jim Paschke, and they'll be sharing the duties. Good guy, Gus Johnson. Great announcer. Colton Wong leading off this 8th inning. Jimenez trying to give Counsell a couple. So if you can get 2 from Jimenez, you add the 4 from Go For It. That is a bonus setting you up for tomorrow for Craig Counsell. The starter Jimmy Nelson was out after 2 innings and 2 batters. St. Louis has 12 relievers. I wonder if any of those guys need work. Maybe Counsell could borrow a couple.
Yeah, we saw them all walk out there. They haven't done much. There's finally activity out in that bullpen. Lackey's night might be over.
And Wong chased one. Another strikeout for Jimenez. That's 3 in a row for Cesar. And that'll bring up Tony Cruz. The Brewers got Jimenez from the Phillies. Taken off their roster. The Brewers claimed him. And outside of a couple of appearances on the road where he couldn't find the strike zone, he's been good for Milwaukee.
Yeah, you bet. He had a couple of back-to-back outings, or 2 out of 3, where he walked 6 guys.
Well, he's a native of Venezuela. He is locked in with his bullpen mate Francisco Rodriguez, his countryman, and he pitches a lot like K-Rod from the left side. Pitches backwards. Breaking balls and fastball counts and vice versa. Francisco anxiously awaiting a save opportunity once again. It's been a while. One ball, one strike to count. And a swing and a miss. There's that changeup. That's a beauty. Looking for another K. This would be 4 in a row. And he's got him. How about that? Jimenez with his 4th consecutive strikeout.
Good off-speed pitch that time. He got Wong on a fastball. Cruz on a changeup.
All right, so Cruz in about face. We got the Reds coming in tomorrow. They're already here, by the way. They're hanging out in Marty Brenneman's suite, watching the ball game, doing a little scouting, I would imagine.
You think they need it?
I think Marty's asleep right now.
Reds and Brewers have played a ton as of late. I don't think there's any secrets left.
Miller Lite, what's on tap? You'll see those two, Youngman and Davies, in that series.
Brewers just left Cincinnati.
Reds got in at 6 a.m. this morning from San Francisco. The Giants gave him a good old-fashioned midweek night game.
Brewers are going to get one of those in San Diego.
Oh yes,
by the way.
are. That is a fastball to the ribs.
Yeah.
A September rib shot.
Yeah.
Courtesy of the Padres. There's a strike to Moss. 2-1 to count. Two outs in the inning. Back-to-back Ks for Jimenez. And he misses. 3-1. The book on Jimenez has always been a guy, as you see Randall Grichuk ready to pinch hit for Lackey. It's always been unreliable command. So he gets into these moments, and we've seen it a couple of times where he just can't throw a strike. But he has the ability to walk the bases loaded and then strike out the next 3 batters.
Right. Well, location utmost importance for him. Doesn't throw very hard. You know, upper 80s, maybe 91. Change up, curveball. When he's got that curveball going, I mean, he's tough. When he's not able to throw it for strikes, that's when he gets in trouble.
The statistics would lead you to believe he's a power pitcher who does not have any command with his fastball, but that's not it. And the thing that makes him a little bit funky and hard to hit, and he gets a lot of swings and misses, the same thing that leads to his wildness at times.
Inconsistent release point.
He's been at it a long time, Cesar Jimenez. Very little time in the big leagues. Been pitching professionally since 2006. Made it to the big leagues, as a matter of fact, with the Mariners in 2006. He's actually been pitching professionally since '02. He was 17 years of age when the Mariners signed him, and then made it to the major leagues in that 2006 season with Seattle. He's got quite, you think Devin Ashley's got quite a road to the big leagues.
Yeah.
Cesar Jimenez has seen it all. Ground ball, and that's through for a base hit. 2 out, 2 strike single by Brandon Moss. And the first hit allowed by Jimenez.
Yeah, battle won by Brandon Moss. That was a long at bat. An 8-pitch at bat. Finally able to roll one into center field.
And Randall Grichuk will bat. He is unable to play every day because of a ligament problem in his throwing arm. But he can hit and he can run, and it's going to be interesting to see what the Cardinals do as they build a postseason roster and they pare down to a 25-man playoff roster. I'll tell you, the way Tommy Pham's swinging the bat, if he continues this, that's going to be a decision that the Cardinals will agonize over. Tommy Pham has been a lightning bolt in the last 2 games. Grichuk made a name for himself as a pinch hitter before he started playing regularly when Holiday went out. 2 homers as a pinch hitter. He's got as much power as anyone. This guy can launch him. He's hit 16 home runs this season in 295 at-bats.
Yeah, the Cardinals version of Chris Davis. Not a lot of wall scrapers.
Slow roller, got to hurry it up. Segura bobbles. Ball popped right out of his glove. That is the way the night is going for the Brewers tonight. They just cannot get out of their own way. That was a tough play, but Segura normally makes his play.
Yeah, this is the play that Segura has made all season long. And just couldn't get the handle on it, and might have been a base hit.
It will be scored as an infield hit. It's out of the realm of normal for a shortstop, but again, Segura makes that play regularly, and he'll tell you he should have made it. So it's no error. The Brewers have committed 3 errors tonight, but it extends the inning for the dangerous Matt Carpenter, who has 3 hits tonight. Last night, Carpenter was 3 for 4 with a homer. And wasn't even the star of the night. Tommy Pham had 3 hits with 2 homers and a triple. Tonight, Carpenter with a single in the first, a double in the third. He homered in the 6th. A triple away from the cycle. One and one. Rangers Astros, former Red, former Indian Rocky Drew Stubbs with a home run. Rangers are up 4-2 now over the Astros. 7th inning. And a ground ball foul. Puts the count at 1-2. beg your pardon, that was Moreland with a home run. Correction in that Astros game. Rangers Astros. Moreland hit his 21st for Texas.
Rangers red hot, aren't they?
Looking for their 6th straight win.
Everything starting to come together for Texas.
Trying to sweep Houston. 1-2 pitch. Missed outside. It's interesting there. Remember when Prince Fielder was a Brewer, one thing he despised doing was being the designated hitter. Did not want to get into that role whenever the Brewers would play an American League team. But he's gone to the DH role because he said the team is better with Moreland at first base. And so he went into the DH role, and once that happened, they caught fire.
Yeah. With age comes wisdom. Remember that.
Carpenter, a soft liner, and Jeanette makes a catch. And the inning is over. Jimenez strands a pair, 2 scoreless for the lefty.
For Brewers Live postgame following this ball game here, and the Brewers getting shut out. It has been a long night since Jimmy Nelson got hit in the head. We hope to get an update. He went to the hospital for a test, Davey, and that kind of set the tone. He got hit literally for runs early, and then got taken out of the game.
Yeah,
too.
and that was too bad. You never hate, you just don't like seeing that happen, but fortunately he's okay. And you know what? It's been a sluggish game from that point on for the Brewers.
Yep, indeed. The Brewers welcome in the Reds here this weekend as well. We'll take a look at that series here from Craig Counsell. Plenty more coming up. Brewers Live postgame following the ball game, Ryan.
All right, Craig and Davey, thanks. 6-0, bottom of the 8th inning coming, and it'll be the first at bat for Domingo Santana, and he'll have to face the very tough Steve Cishek.
Yeah, very tough on right-handed hitters. You know, Cishek, the side armor, 52nd appearance. Got a lot of relievers out there. We saw him walk out there. There's 12 of them. Cishek's first appearance in this series.
20th game as a Cardinal. He was traded from the Marlins to St. Louis. Cardinals gave up a pretty terrific young talent in Kyle Bearclaw in that deal. We saw Bearclaw look dominant in Miami. Not to mention the cool name he has. Cishek ended up as the Marlins closer with that slingshot delivery. Actually saved 39 games last year for the Marlins. Career high. The year before that had 34. And he's working out of the St. Louis bullpen. Makes it a tough combo down there with Segrist and Cishek. And the closer, Rosenthal.
And a bunch of guys that throw hard, a lot of guys that throw sinkers. So you get the ground ball pitchers, get the double play, the strikeout guys.
And down goes Santana. Cishek cuts him down. Brewers have struck out 9 times tonight. John Lackey with 8 punch outs in 7 shutout innings, only giving up 5 hits in this one.
Yeah, 7 of the 9 have come since the 5th inning.
Scooter Gennett, center field, going back on it is Borges, and he's got it at the track for the out. 2 outs in the inning. Just missed it. The 6'6" Steve Cishek.
Normally don't see a guy that big throwing sidearm like that. Those are the guys that normally, rear back and let her fly at about 95, 6 miles an hour. All arms and legs coming at you.
And he throws from down there with some velocity too. That's what separates Cishek.
Yeah, 92, 93. He's been known to get it, that fastball, as high as 94 miles an hour at times.
Herrera stays right on that one, but lines it to Borges for the out. The Brewers go quietly in the 8th. We go to the 9th. It's 6-0 St. Louis. Frankie Rodriguez in the game for the Brew Crew. Tonight's game presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. Roof is closed. Panels are closed. It's raining outside. There's lightning in the area. And the Brewers are getting cardinaled here tonight. It's been ugly from the start. Milwaukee with 3 errors. A couple of missed plays outside of the errors. And they've got their closer in a game down 6-0 in a night. That pretty much sums it up.
This thing, it could be raining.
That's right. Good point, Rock.
I mean, you always got to look at the bright side.
Absolutely.
54th appearance for K-Rod. It's been a while for K-Rod. It was on Tuesday against the Cardinals. He tossed a scoreless 9th inning. That was a extra inning loss for the Brewers.
Tommy Pham at the plate. Hits in his first 2 at-bats, a triple and a double. Strikeouts his last 2. Man, he just attacks the baseball. Tommy Pham with his 3rd hit of the night.
He likes the ball up. I mean, you give him good sliders down and away. He hasn't been able to come close. But I mean, most hitters are going to hit mistakes, and that was one right down the middle. Those are the pitches that he's been hitting hard the entire series.
I wonder what his average exit velocity is in this series with the base hits. It's got to be around 100. The ball he hit off the head of Jimmy Nelson in the 3rd inning was clocked at 104 miles an hour off the bat. So that's a leadoff single for Pham. And Hayward takes a strike. Well, the Brewers did good work out of their bullpen tonight. You lose a starter in the 2nd inning or the 3rd inning, but nobody out in the 3rd inning. So only 6 outs from your starter tonight. You're always looking ahead at what's coming up the next few nights. And even with expanded rosters, and the Brewers really didn't expand their rosters by much. But David Goforth goes 4 innings. Jimenez goes 2. And so Counsell is set up pretty well to start the series against the Reds tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks to David Goforth. 4 innings. 2 of the long relievers were used in yesterday's ball game, Cravey and Loesch.
Brewers will have 6 home games remaining. And then we close up shop until next April. Ground ball. Chance for 2. Segura, Jeanette, double play. Taylor made double play ball. And K-Rod wipes out the leadoff single. And the Cardinals will send up Greg Garcia. Cardinals are headed to Chicago tonight. A little bus ride down to the Windy City.
Hour and a half with no traffic.
Day game against the Cubs tomorrow.
Shouldn't be too bad tonight.
Piece of cake.
But you never know.
Sure, all the traffic will see the Cardinals coming. They'll just move off to the side. Let them get right down into the hotel. Big matchup between the Cardinals and the Cubs. Cubs are a long shot. They're going to have to sweep them to even have a chance. But Cubs won again today. They've won back-to-back games. Beat the Pirates today. Cubs are 2 out of that wild card race right now. You know they'd love to host a game. You put a wild card game at Wrigley Field. Boy, that's going to have some serious vibe. It could happen. Pirates lost to the Cubs today, and they are embarking on a very difficult road trip coming up.
But they do pretty well against the West. Pirates have not fared very well against the Central, but everybody else, the East, the West, incredible record.
Problem going west this time for the Pirates. They're going to get Greinke and Kershaw.
Pirates are 21-5 against the West. 24-9 against the East. And now 29-38 against their own division.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah, it is.
For a team that's 29 games over 500. Because they're going to have to go through their division if they're going to advance in the playoffs, whether it be in the wild card game or the division series. There's a called strike 3, and K-Rod gets a K to end the ninth. We head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Brewers need 6. Might as well get 7. Well, this is one to forget for the Brewers, barring a 9th inning rally. They still have a chance, right? You gotta believe. Greg Garcia will take over at shortstop after his at-bat in the top of this inning, a strikeout, and Pete Kozma enters the game at third base. 6-0 St. Louis. John Lackey in line for the win. Jimmy Nelson on the hook for the loss, and a trip to the hospital tonight. Hoping to get an update on Jimmy Nelson. He did leave under his own power after taking a line drive off the head right above the ear. And the Brewers reporting that he is lucid, so that's a good sign. But taking him to the hospital for observation and a CT scan. So we will hope to bring you an update on that. Sophia will be down in the clubhouse after the game. Ryan Braun rolls to third. There's out number 1. Brewers are trying to avoid their 15th shutout of the season. The Cardinals would have shut them out 6 times. And Mike Matheny is making a pitching change with 1 out in a 6-0 game. That's enough work for Cishek, I suppose. So here we go to the bullpen. We'll take a break and we'll set up the new hurler when we come back. Cardinals feeling like they have this one secured are going to get some guys some work. Randy Choate on the mound, hasn't pitched in a while, and Matheny wants to get him game ready here tonight. He'll probably face one batter. Matheny's got a right-hander warming up in the bullpen, by the way. Jason Rogers will pinch hit for the Brewers.
Yeah, Choate last pitched on the 10th at Cincinnati. 2/3, gave up a base hit, but no runs. One of 3 left-handers down in that pen for Mike Matheny.
Rogers got a couple of home runs this year, batting .275. Occasional starts at first base. Make a play. Not a girl. Made it look easy over there. Good form.
Thought Eddie was going to make that play. He thought about it for a second. I mean, for just one brief second, he thought about it.
You know, I disagree. I think he wanted to leave the impression that he was going to make a play, but was going to make sure that ball did not touch him.
You might be right.
There's a strike. 2-2.
Still has those instincts, though, as a player.
Ed Cedar?
Yeah, right away. He thought
Sure.
about it, and then he thought better of it, which was a smart move.
Got to drop into form right away as Rogers strikes out. And Randy Choate comes on to Get a punch out for the second out of the inning. And here comes Matheny. All right. So we'll have another pitching change here. I'm sure he doesn't want to do it.
Yes, he does. Absolutely he does.
Pitcher needs work.
He wants to stay here as long as he can.
All right, Randy, good job. Next man up. 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, 6-0 game. New pitcher coming in, Mitch Harris. To play another inning. He could get all of his relievers in. He's got Mitch Harris on the mound. He is using his third pitcher of the inning.
Well, there's always a reason for everything that happens in baseball. We're not sure what it is here, but there's got to be one in that Cardinals dugout. That 25th appearance for Harris. Good numbers, a .281 earned run average. He last pitched on the 10th at Cincinnati. Got belted around pretty good. 3 runs in an inning and a third of work. Maybe that's why he's in there, to maybe iron things out.
Nothing like game experience. I'm sure Matheny would tell you. And he's got some guys out there that need it. So if you're the Brewers, you're trying to do a little bit of damage. Trying to disrupt that a little bit. Hernan Perez pinch hitting, 2 outs. And that's a ground ball. Wow, look at the spin on that ball. It took a left turn.
Well, that'll be a hit. Got to be a hit. Yeah, that ball, crazy spin on it, and Wong just couldn't handle it. See that ball take a left-hand turn. Wong tried to grab it with the bare hand, and base hit to Perez. There you go. Good thing that there's nobody else getting loose in the pen.
There's Shane Peterson now.
Surprised the left-hander's not up. Got to face one.
Yeah.
I mean that's minimum one.
Yeah, this works out well. There's a base hit to right. All right. First and third for the Brewers. All right, if you're the Brewers now, you're just trying to get Rosenthal in the game. The closer. Going to take a few more hits.
Trying to figure out how many more hitters it's going to take for me to get a save here.
Well, the Brewers 2 outs, 9th inning, 2 on. Segura at the plate. And he's swinging at that first pitch. Six nothing. Brewers trying to snap the shutout potential in this one, and it's 0-2. The Brewers are down to their last strike. No balls, 2 strikes. Harris deals it, and that is outside. John Lackey started. He went 7. Impressive tonight. 7 shutout, 8 strikeouts. In line for the win. And a swing and a foul. Segura right off the hands.
It'd be nice to get that goose egg off the run totals here. Break up the shutout. Not much of a consolation, but it's something.
One ball, 2 strikes. Brewers have 2 men on here in the 9th inning. And Segura spoils another one. Segura looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 3. Matheny left Cishek in the game to face Braun. Choate got a strikeout. Now Harris has come on, giving up 2 hits. And that one just missed. Boy, Harris wanted that call. And now the count is 2-2. Everything up and away for the most part.
Yeah, you can see that the pitches that he's been calling off the plate, actually off the plate.
Wants a breaking ball here. Runner goes, and Segura fights another one off. Try to turn it over to the next guy. See if you can get one more reliever in the game. 2-2 pitch, 2 outs. Peterson goes. Segura turns on one. And there she goes. A home run for Segura. 3-run shot.
Well, Matheny now maybe questioning whether he should have done all that he did. Had things going pretty well until he started making the moves. And Gene Segura gets a hold of a slider and knocks it on out of here. Now he's going to get some activity in that bullpen. Not a save opportunity yet, but good at bat by Segura. Harris hangs a slider, and that's one of the longest home runs we've seen from Segura.
That's just his 5th of the year. Boy, how about that? All those pitching changes. Matheny trying to get some guys some work. And the Brewers could be in a position to force the closer in the game. Trevor Rosenthal is up and throwing right now.
In a hurry.
Oh, man.
Well, sometimes, you know, you outthink yourself. Well, Brewers taking advantage of it. Harris has been getting hit around pretty good. Last couple of outings, he's given up 6 runs. One more hitter, one more base runner, and it becomes a save situation. And who would have thought that he would have had to get up in about the middle part of this ball game tonight?
.436-foot home run.
Maybe the longest one he's hit as a Brewer.
I'm with you. I don't recall one further than that. Here's Maldonado now. Base is empty. 2 outs. Got Santana on deck. One more batter reaches base. It turns into a save situation.
Yep, and Rosenthal is hot and ready. He's getting loose quickly.
In the air, center field, Borges with room. And the game will end. The multiple relievers forces the closer to get loose. And we'll see if that has any lasting effect, but the Cardinals do seal it off. Tommy Pham, 3 more hits tonight. Matt Carpenter with 3 hits, including a home run. The Cardinals win by a final of 6-3, and they sweep the Brewers for the first time here at Miller Park since 2013. It's time for Brewers Live. Let's check in with Craig Kashawn. He's standing by in our Fox Sports Wisconsin studio down the right field line.
Okay, BA, thanks.